the night Lobos played, the next day, literally, it was like a B movie. Every phone call, every discussion. Did you see Los Lobos? Did you hear this band? So, like, it was literally every conversation for seemed like the next month was about that one show. And the crazy part was this band had been together for, what, 8 years at that point?
Yeah.
And like the Blasters, like the oldest band in the scene in Los Angeles, like, with the scene that I was in was maybe 2 years old, 3 years old.
Yeah.
The Blasters, maybe 2 years old at that point. So these guys have been together, 6 years longer than anybody there, but no one had ever heard anything. And then all of a sudden, it was literally explosion.
Because we weren't a rock band, we were a folk band and stuff, and then we got into that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty easy to do that turnaround. It was second nature to us. And then the norteño music, the Tex-Mex music, I call it norteño music, had that energy. When you played with the drums and like a lot of the Tex-Mex, more modern Tex-Mex music, like Flaco Jimenez, that's the whole thing. It's a lot of it's played with a drummer and electric bass and all that, and I'd put a pickup on the bajo sexto, so it was like rock and roll. I mean, we played those polkas and
they had a lot of energy to it. Yes,
yeah, fast and loud, and we played all those punk clubs, and it was just like wow,
Yeah.
Well,
the mosh pit was there for the Tex-Mex music and everything,
The Roots revival thing was happening, and which grew out of the punk rock.
Right.
So you had like bands like Rank and File, you had the rockabilly thing.
Yeah.
And we were already going across the river to go see some of these bands, and so when that movement started to grow out of that scene, it seemed like it made sense to us to, hey, we could do this too. Some of the earliest conversations, Dave will remember, is with Phil Alvin saying, hey, or Dave Alvin saying, hey, we're from East LA, and we kind of play, the old rock and roll too, in a way, and the connection with, like Caesar just said about
they're from Downey, which is right next door. So it's on the east side. So, yeah.
Well, tell the story about when you met them, right? They kind of recognized you from somewhere.
Who's that?
I think Phil Alvin.
No, I think Dave's.
Well, they saw the PBS thing.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. So they knew that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I saw you guys.
Okay, I know where you are. Yeah. But we went to see. We had made a tape, a cassette in Conrad's garage, about 4 or 5 songs, and handed it to Phil. They were playing it at the country club in
Rich Miller's. Yeah.
Yeah, in Reseda, and. I just handed him the cassette, and that's when we met. Said about growing up on the east side and all that. And a few months later, I get a call from Dave Alvin. Says that was the week that they had like about five nights at the Whiskey, and they wanted to invite different bands to open. So that's how that happened.
Yeah.
That's where it launched from there, and then you started doing other club gigs and.
Also, too, I want to mention that we were, as musicians and stuff, we were listening. We were listening to a lot of stuff that was going on. I mean, we weren't that dumb. We were becoming fans of I remember like Dave had the first Blasters album, so we knew about all that stuff and all the punk stuff that was happening. We were just getting a big kick out of it. It was like, wow, this is like crazy. This is like they're doing something. Something's definitely happening over there. And so when we got invited to be part of it, it was like, wow.